Hello, hello. Welcome back.
Hello,
I'm Nick,
I'm Matt.
and you're watching Nick and Matt's Everyday English Corner, episode 12. And yeah, it's been a while. It's been like I think over a year since our last upload. um
Yeah, it's been quite a long time, so we can definitely say sorry about that.
Yeah, well, that was mostly on my end. I got really busy near the middle part of the year, and then things just kind of snowballed. We had to do our whole like license test and all that for the driving exam, and then I remember like we went home to our countries at one point. So
Mm,
there's been a lot that's been going on.
absolutely. And then once you stop doing something for a while, it's hard to get back in the habit of doing it. So definitely our fault.
Yeah, but recently I had a conversation with someone I met um
Mm,
about a month ago, and we were talking about how I had this podcast and how I hadn't uploaded in a long time, and they told me, "Oh, I would definitely like to listen to that more." And that kind of like just gave me the motivation to
mm,
bring it back, run it back again, I guess you could say.
absolutely. And I'm glad you did. It's been a while.
Well, without any further ado, let's not delay any further and actually get into
Mm,
today's topic. Today's topic is by request, actually. I wanted to talk about the tipping culture in America and how I think most people think it's a scam, but we'll get into that very briefly here.
absolutely. Yes. It is definitely one of the subjects that people have a lot of strong opinions on. So I'm excited to kind of hear what you think and if it aligns with what I think. But first, I think we should definitely introduce it.
Yeah, well, for those who don't know, in America, there is a small part of our culture that is known as tipping culture. And a tip is generally a certain amount of money that you pay as like a service fee to someone who did something for you. And it is calculated as part of the total price of what you were already supposed to pay.
Absolutely. And it's something that is socially expected, but not required. But if you don't tip, you're probably not going to that same place ever again, is kind
Yeah,
of the thinking that goes on.
yeah, the the key word there is it's technically not required, but it's almost like socially
Yeah.
expected that you do it.
Yes. If your friends catch you not tipping, it can be very bad for you.
Yeah, it's generally expected at restaurants. Restaurants are
Mm.
usually the place where tipping is mainstream. Like, if you don't tip, you will never go back to that restaurant again because the staff will be giving you the stink eye. We can say that.
Yeah. And a lot of times, if they know you don't tip, the staff may not treat you nearly as well. And in a place where you feel uncomfortable, it's always not fun eating the food. So basically, in America, as much as I dislike it, I definitely suggest keeping to the tip culture and putting at least something on the table.
Yeah, and to be a little bit more specific about who you're actually paying this to, in a restaurant, for example, you would be giving a tip to the waiter, to the person who brought you
Mm,
your food. So it is a service fee for the person giving you, well, again, like I just said, good service. The only problem there is, though, is that even if it's bad service, the tip is still generally expected. And I believe when I left America, it was around 20% of the number on the check. So you calculate 20% of the quote unquote total, and then you add that on to increase the amount that you pay. And then that money that you put down as the tip goes to the server.
Yes, absolutely. It's gone up over the years, the expectation of how much to tip. When I was in my 20s, the expectation was 10% tip was for bad service. 15% tip was for normal service, like you got everything expected, and 20% was that you really had a good time. Though I think today 20% is now the minimum of like everything was okay.
Yeah, that's generally what I've heard as well. I do remember that as well. That like 10% was the standard, at least back when I was a kid in the early
Hmm.
2000s. And I never understood why tipping was a thing. I think it's really, really dumb, but it's just part of the societal pressure of America.
Absolutely. And I've always made the joke that one thing Americans are especially good at is doing percentages, small percentages, very quickly because we always have to take a base price, add tax to it, and then also add a tip to that. And we have to do it all in our head pretty quickly. And a lot of Americans got good at that over the years.
Oh, so right, so like Americans are really good at mental math because we have to calculate all this extra crap along with the quote unquote base price, the price that you originally read on the check. Then you have to add tax to that because that's not for some reason already included on what you're reading, and then you have to add the tip as well.
So a lot of Americans are really good at that quick and dirty percentage math, which surprises a lot of people, but it makes sense.
Yeah, I think it does as well. However, when I think about tipping culture, it's not only restaurants, right? There's other places where tips are generally expected. And again, if you don't
Mm.
give them, you'll basically be shunned from the establishment, never to go back again, because it will feel awkward if you do. And the one that I always think of are haircuts or like the barber shop.
Yes, like after restaurants, I believe hairstylists or hair places are the next biggest place to tip.
Yeah, and I think it's about the same. It's like 20 or sometimes I've even seen like 30%. But yeah, generally speaking, just give the tip directly to the barber and they like literally take your money and put it in their pocket.
And then another one that people may not be aware of is anyone that does food delivery. So like you order a pizza, it gets delivered to your door. So you paid pizza price, delivery price, but you're also expected to tip the delivery driver as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I mean that's such a huge thing now, all these like food delivery apps because in America, this is a bit off topic, but it still relates to the
Mm.
tipping of these drivers. In America, like convenience has become such a important part of our culture. So like food ordering apps have become a massive thing, and because of that, these drivers who come and deliver you the food actually take tips as well, and that's done through usually I believe an app.
Yeah, a lot of tipping now is done through apps. Like for example, you go to a restaurant and you pay with your card. It gives you the option to type in the tip percentage. Same goes for ordering food online. You can select how much you tip. So as technology has increased, they've made tipping a lot quicker and easier as well.
Yeah, that is quite true. And then I think another one that we probably need to talk about are like ride sharing apps like Uber, and then I guess probably by some extent back in the day, taxi drivers I imagine also got tipped,
Mm.
right?
Yes, absolutely. Taxi drivers were, I think, 10 to 15% of the total fare was their tip. So they could get some pretty good money off of that.
Yeah, that is the upside of the tipping system is that the person working, if they do good service, they have a chance to like earn a lot more money. But I remember like about 5 minutes ago or so, I was talking about how I didn't know why tipping is a thing. That was kind of like an in the moment thing. There is like a small reason why it's required, and it's actually because of capitalism. Um,
Yes, everyone's
because
favorite
these
capital.
American restaurants pay their workers such little money that they can
Mm.
justify that low salary because of the tipping system. So because they can get tips and earn extra money, restaurants can say, "Oh, if they get tips, they'll earn like the minimum wage, and then that's how they can get away with saving money on the business side of things."
To give a perspective on how low it is, in California, from where
Which is
you
my
are,
home state. Yeah.
minimum wage is at least $15 an hour, probably more than that, right?
It depends on the place you're living in. Like if you're living in LA or the Bay Area, it's actually way higher than that. I think it was around
Mm.
like 18, 19 actually, but some places are about 15.
Okay.
Yeah,
So 15 to 18. So to give a perspective, in a restaurant, because of tipping, they can get away with paying this person $2 an hour
yeah,
instead of
yeah,
15 to 18. And the tips are supposed to make up that amount in pay, which can be very, very scary when you're trying to live like paycheck to paycheck.
yeah. Because sometimes people just don't tip, and then that's part of your wages that you, as a restaurant server or whatever business you're in that requires tips, you're not getting that money.
Now, there is one thing I have to mention that absolutely makes me angry because when I went back to the US this year, I went to a Starbucks and the order was done completely on a little tablet that's up there. So I didn't have to talk to anybody.
Sure.
So I did my order on the tablet. I went to pay and then it asked for a tip. I haven't
Yeah,
talked to anybody, and it was still wanting a tip.
yeah.
And I saw it again that same day going to a grocery store, did self checkout, and it asked me to tip once more at the end. Even though I didn't talk to anybody, I got my home food, I brought it over. So right now, tipping culture is like spreading everywhere, even in places that do not require a tip.
That's actually something I wanted to bring up next. That's a perfect segue. Because again, we live in Japan, where tipping culture is just not a thing. Like, if you try and tip a worker here in Japan, they will give you the money back. Because they can't fathom why they're getting the extra money because it's just societally expected. People in Japan, because tipping culture isn't a thing here, will ask me
Mm.
like, "Where do you and don't you tip?" And so I tell them, you tip in restaurants, you tip at the barber shop, you tip at just general places where they do service, but you don't tip generally at, like, for example, fast food places or, well, case in point, like you just said, the grocery store. There's a lot of places where it's customer service, but you're not expected to tip. And now you're telling me that they have these machines where you have the option to tip even in places that wouldn't normally require a tip.
Exactly. So there's like no one's wage the makeup, yet it was asking for a tip, which I do know when I hear people talk about it in America, they complain about it. So it's very unpopular.
Yeah,
But still, that it's spreading and it's happening is just really crazy to see.
yeah, and with how expensive everything's been getting over in America too, like, there people don't have the money to tip. Like, the buying things alone is already expensive as is. I'm pretty sure when I left America, or when we left America, like, eating out at a restaurant was like on average probably $25 to $30. Like, you would sacrifice a good amount of your paycheck if you were eating out regularly, weekly, and then you have the tip on top of that. It's just crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. So like in America, like going out to eat was more of an event. Like you did it every
Yeah,
once in a while.
yeah,
And I believe that a lot of people in America learn to either eat cheap or cook for themselves as a result, and then going out to the restaurant was just special events with friends, things like that. So I know a lot of restaurants in America closed after COVID, just for that reason. They weren't getting enough people. There was enough money to really go out and eat often, so it was a big issue in America that's still happening today.
I I can only imagine it's probably just gonna get worse from here, because tipping used to only be 10%. I don't know if it's gotten any higher than now. I certainly hope it's still 20%, but I hate the entire idea of it. It's just it feels so sleazy. It feels like you're almost being robbed in a certain way if the service isn't really high quality.
One thing I can give is a small tip. If you want to eat some food from a restaurant, but you don't want the tip, but want to skip the social awkwardness, if you order the food to go, you are not usually expected to tip. So you can get the food, take it out, eat it somewhere else, and just pay the base price.
Right, because again, it's all about the context. Because if you're sitting down to eat at a restaurant, you're tipping the person who's serving you. It's a service fee. But if you're taking the food out to eat and you're just eating in your house or like at the park or something, there's no one serving you. So who are you tipping?
Exactly. So you're not socially expected to tip if you order food to go instead of dine in.
Yeah. That I like the way you think. Just take the food and run.
Take the food and run, and you're okay.
Yeah.
But still pay for it. You don't
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to,
yeah.
though.
Well, don't commit a crime, but yeah, pay for the food. But you know what we mean.
Yeah, exactly.
um, Now the last thing I want to bring up here is a little bit of a humble brag to anyone who doesn't live in Japan, or I guess a little humble brag to anyone who lives in America and has to deal with the tipping culture. Here in Japan, again, like I said before, tipping is just not a thing here. There are like tip jars, but like typically that's what you would see at like an old Starbucks, right? Where they have like a little jar and you'll have like 10 yen coins in there. Like people will just throw their spare change in there. That's pretty much the extent of it here.
Yeah, you see them occasionally. Some of them are for charity, but it's not expected. They're just there in case you got a bit of loose change.
Yeah, and again, we keep going back to restaurants because it's such a common example of the tipping culture. But here in Japan, if you go to a restaurant and you try and tip the server, they will 100% not accept the tip. And the service quality in Japan is known for being very high, but that's not because the servers are incentivized to work harder so they can earn more money. It's just part of the culture, and it's generally societally expected that they deliver that high quality service, or else they'll lose their job.
And I've never had a bad time at any Japanese restaurant with a server. They're always pretty much immaculately polite. They bring everything you need. The only difference basically is in the type of customer service you get. In Japan, because tipping is not required or not even expected or needed, they're doing their best to just do their job and be polite to you. Whereas in America, the waiter will be extremely friendly with you. They'll talk to you, they'll be your friend. And some of that is genuine, of course. It's a very friendly country, but a lot of it is also so they can get a higher tip. So you see a big change in the way your customer service is as a result.
It is true. When you're motivated by money, a lot of these American service workers will do a little bit of what's a good word for this? Theatrics. They'll put on a good act to pretend like, they are absolutely your best friend. They'll take care of you. They'll do anything you need. And then probably as soon as that person goes home, they'll immediately start complaining like, "Oh my god, today at work sucked. I had such a bad day, even though like when they were in front of you, it looked like they were on top of the world.
Yes, complete personality change in and out of work.
Yeah.
And that's just a normal expected thing.
I mean, it's probably the same in Japan too, especially because of how strict the culture is and how many demands are expected of service workers. What with the extremely polite, polite speech that they have to use, it's like a level above
Oh
the
yeah.
standard level. Because in Japan, the customer is God, and yeah, let me tell you, God ain't tipping nobody.
It's absolutely true.
Yeah,
So that's one thing you can see a similarity on is probably how people change in and out of work. Once work's over, they can just act however they need to.
yeah, yeah. And again, that's a global thing, but especially in America and like these service jobs, most people are just kind of literally in it for the money.
But the good news is anywhere you go in America, before the tip becomes an issue, most waiters will treat you very nice. They'll
Yeah.
ask you how you're doing. They'll make sure that your drinks are topped off. They'll do everything they can to make you comfortable. If you decide not to tip and then you come again, that experience will change. But the first time, you're always going to be treated very well.
So I guess in terms of an explanation, to put it down into a simple word, why is tipping culture a thing? Capitalism.
Capitalism,
Yeah.
money for everything.
Yeah. That is the money does in fact make the world go round, as they say.
That's very true. And it
Yeah.
sounds very American.
It is about as American as it gets, other than the one word freedom.
Absolutely. That's
Yeah.
a fantastic word to leave off.
Yeah. So with that, I I guess we'll catch you all in a year when we upload episode 13. That joke. I actually do want to try and
A
upload a little bit more regularly, but
little
yeah,
bit more
no,
regularly than a year.
yeah,
So maybe
hopefully.
next month, maybe in 3 months, but not a year.
But anyway, this was really fun. I missed doing these, so let's try and do this again sometime. I had a lot of fun talking about this.
Absolutely. I'm the same.
All right. Well, thanks for watching. If you liked what we talked about, we can definitely take some suggestions in the comments. Leave a like if you feel so inclined.
And subscribe. We got to
Yeah,
do the like and subscribe.
yeah. We're officially going YouTube sellout now. But that's all from us. I'm Nick,
I'm Matt.
and we'll catch you next time, whenever that is. See ya. Bye bye.
Absolutely. See ya.